Solution Restart feature can be accessed from the Details window of the Analysis Settings branch. If we click on the Restart Controls branch, it expands into the Restart Settings. The first tab is Generate Restart Points. The default value associated with it is Program Controlled. It is possible to turn it to a manual or set it off, depending on the user requirements. By default, restart points are generated after a certain number of successfully solved substeps. It is possible to restart a solution from the substep that has restart point generated after the solution. If we set the Generate Restart option to Manual, some more options are displayed. The first is the load step, and the values associated with are last, all, or specify. If we choose last, the restart points are generated only in the last, that is, the most recent load step. If we select all, the restart points are generated in all the load steps. If we select Specify, we can specify the load step number for which the restart points are to be generated. If we select the load step option, all, or specify, additional options of substep selection are activated. It is possible to generate the restart points at all the substeps, or the last solved, that is, the current substep. It is also possible to generate the restart points at the specific recurrence rate. It is also possible to define certain number of equally spaced restart points generated within a particular load step. We are going to see the significance of the specific recurrence rate and the equally spaced restart points in the subsequent slides. Additional option available is maximum points to save per step. The default option is all. This means that in a given load step, all the restart points will be saved. Instead of the option all, if we specify a number 5, then only 5 most recent restart points will be retained. Previous restart files will be overwritten. The last two restart options available are Retain Restart Points after the full solve and Combine Restart Files. Remember that the restart points are generated so that it should be possible to restart the solution from the last solved substep in case of the solution difficulties. Once the model gets completely solved with all the load steps, restart point do not have any function. Therefore, by default, the restart points are deleted, and the default setting for the retain restart points after the full solve option is no. However, an option is provided so that users can retain the restart points in case they need to restart the solution for some other reason, like the possible changes in the loads. The last option is Combine Restart Files, and the default option associated is no. Restart point is actually a file that Ansys generates at the user's specified successfully solved substep. When a solver uses multiple processor cores, one restart file is written for each core. Thus, for 4 cores used for the solution, each restart point requested substep will have 4 restart files, corresponding to each processor core. This makes it difficult to restart the solution with a different number of cores, than previously used while generating the restart points. To overcome this problem, an option of combining the restart files has been provided. If we set this value to yes, it is possible to restart the solution with a different number of the processor cores than that used while generating the restart points.